All right, welcome back to the second try on a new episode. I just recorded a whole episode without my microphone, which was not too nice. But yeah, now at least I know what I want to say, I hope. So this has nothing to do with JOSEF for the first time. But yeah, I'm gonna need a break from this. I might come back to JOSEF in a while, but yeah, I want to do something different for now. And that's, as I already announced, a 9-tile ribbon base that's aiming to do 1,000 signs per minute. And it's going to resemble loosely this space that I built like half a year ago, which is doing 500 signs per minute on 11 tiles. I'm gonna first show off the signs, so you know I'm not bluffing. It's pretty stably doing 500 signs per minute. And it has kind of a funky train system. I have made a video about this like half a year ago, which just has some text commentary, but you might have seen that, and this might be nothing new for you. But as I said, I'm going to build a new base using something similar to this, but not the same system. First of all, maybe the basics. You can see there's constantly new trains appearing, and those are LTN depot stations. For those who aren't aware, LTN is Logistic Train Network, is a train management mod, which basically allows you to have these depot stations, and trains that sit in the depot stations automatically get assigned jobs. And usually after that they return to depot stations, but in my case they actually just get deconstructed and put on this belt here and shipped back to the depot stations. You can see there's a bunch coming in. I'm gonna try to find, the filling up stations I guess aren't too interesting. Trains get filled up there, as you might imagine, and there's kind of standard LTN stations. They only basically open up when there's enough resources available. But I'm not gonna use LTN in the new run. I wanna go a bit more vanilla. I mean, it's still far from vanilla because I'm gonna use the Recursive Blueprints mod again. But I only want to have basically one station that builds trains and fills them up, and then another station that empties them and deconstructs them. And I think I don't really need LTN for that. In hindsight, I don't really see why I was using LTN in the first place. I think I'm just gonna, because in the last recording that I did without microphone, I was desperately trying to find trains that were emptying. I think I'm gonna make it easier for myself and just skip forward a little bit until I have a train coming in here. But this station is, maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna have a little bit of a search. This is looking better. Okay, I'm gonna wait for a second. Okay, here we go. It's getting emptied, and once it's empty, it will get deconstructed and put on the belt up here with the remaining fuel. These exoskeletons are a bit annoying. Now I'm somewhere completely else because I have like 50 super exoskeletons, which are handy for getting around on a ribbon map, but aren't really handy for getting to certain locations on a ribbon map. I might have to do some fine-tuning on that, but I guess you saw the general idea. And I think I'm not going to go into any more detail on this map, but instead just go to the new map that I've started. I haven't done a terrible amount of work there, but I've set up the new basic train system, so I'm gonna explain this in a bit more detail. And here we are. The first obvious difference is it's going from left to right instead of right to left, and I'm gonna come to that in a second, but I think I'm gonna explain the train system first. You can see train gets filled up here, and this is supposed to be like a blueprintable station. The only difference, like the only thing I'm gonna have to adjust for every different kind of station that I build is the schedule of this train. So it is going to be a bit tedious, and I'm going to basically have for one blueprint for every type of resource that I'm shipping on a train, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. Like every time I build something new, I'll just quickly build the train, put in the new recipe, change the blueprint. It shouldn't be too much work. And you can see I'm using 1-4 trains now, which is a lot smarter I think than 1-2 trains, because the limiting factor will be how many trains fit on this rail. So I think longer trains will definitely be profitable. And yeah, it's just doing a simple job for now. It's going here, getting emptied, and the second it's empty, it's getting deconstructed. And I think I'm gonna start with this station for explaining. This is the simpler one, I think. Yeah, 1 second, should be empty any time now. Here we go. And the bots are putting it in these chests where it gets shipped back to the first station. And yeah, the way this works, I of course have a blueprint deployer here, which has just a simple deconstruction planner for trains and wagons, like locomotives and wagons. And I'm putting in the right width and height and offset here. This is just, I'm using the belt running along here to measure. This is 35 tiles long, and of course it's 2 tiles high because it's a train. And if I'm then offsetting this by -17 to the middle here, I'm gonna deconstruct basically this window here. And of course I don't want to deconstruct it right when it comes in, but instead I want to wait, I want to wait for a train to be here. Otherwise I'm gonna, like, if I only set this to say content 0, I'm gonna deconstruct it even when it's still here. So I want to make sure there has to be a train in the station and it has to be empty. And this is done by these 3 combinators here. This is basically saying, okay, if there's a train in the station, output a construction bot equal to 1. And this one is adding up everything that it's getting, which is the train ID and the contents of the train. You can see here, this is at L equal to 7,000 something, which is the amount of ore plus the 428 from T, and that's adding it all up. And this is comparing the L and the T signal. So this means, and it's letting through the construction bot signal only when these are equal, which means the amount of content in the train is equal to 0, because only then is L equal to T. So this is just a very convenient and short and quick way to do this. This is a good way to see all the signals. This is now outputting, it was a bit fast to see, but it basically output the construction bot for 1 tick, and then it got deconstructed and then marked for deconstruction, and then the T signal disappeared because the train did no longer count as in the station. Okay, so this is the emptying, or the output station, and the input station is slightly more complicated, I guess, but not too bad. What this is doing is, the default is basically I want to always have a train here. So when there's no train in this station, just build a new one, let it fill up, and wait for it to leave. And the way I'm doing this is using these 2 train rail signals here, or basically just the first one. And I'm measuring this block here, and it's a bit hard to see in all this mess here, but I have something like this, which is just, this is activating when the signal turns red, and this is activating when it's turning green again. So yeah, this will loop every time this rail block is used basically, and when this activates, it's gonna put it on this belt here, which will pulse to this combinator, which will then trigger the construction of a new train. It's actually not complicated at all. And yeah, this thing here is just something I'm gonna use for convenience sake, and because I'm a moron and I forget things, which is when I place this is just gonna output 1 wire and then stop, and this is just for priming these little loops here. And I'm even gonna do the same thing for construction bots, because I'm gonna have lots of isolated small roboport networks, not even networks, but just roboports, which I'm always going to forget to fill with robots, so I just have this set to like just put in a few robots and then stop. And I'm going to use quite a few like these small infinite resource tricks, or not infinite resources, of course. I am going to build everything, but I'm gonna spawn in ores like I did here, and I'm gonna use like, yeah, stuff like these construction bots, things that I consider part of the building process and not part of the running base. I'm just basically going to cheat in. I hope you have no problem with that, otherwise this might not be the playthrough for you. Yeah, I think this is more or less everything about the train system. Maybe a few words on why I'm going from left to right this time and not from right to left. Yeah, maybe I just go through the thought process. So the first thing I wanted to do was more or less as I had it last time, build stations like this, then have the station here and go this way, and then I realized, oh crap, I can't put any signals on this side of the rail, so this is not going to work. So I'm going to need to go from left to right, which means, well, the slimmest, I can't go to anywhere else than here, because there's not enough room to do any chicanes like this and go around in a loop. Okay, 1 second. If I had more space, which I'm just gonna pretend I had for a second. If I had more space, I would be able to do something like this, and then basically go here. So I have a longer diagonal here and a shorter one here, and then I could go very close to this rail, but I can't do this on 9 tiles, because the only length diagonal that I can have that can, well, it's a bit convoluted explanation, I guess, but long story short, I can only have this rail, these two. And if I have this as a station, so I'm going from left to right, and of course I don't have this little bump here, then again I can't build any stations on this rail because I don't have enough room here. So the only thing I'm able to do is build a station here and have this, come on, go around like this to basically, so the main rail is going to chicane around the stations. That's the only way I found possible to, or like the only way I've managed to implement my train system on 9 tiles, I think. But yeah, that's fine by me. This should work. And I think that's all I have for now. I'm not really sure how I'm gonna do this series, how long it's going to go, and how much I'm gonna do like live, how much I'm just gonna talk about what I've done. I would like to do more things live, but I don't know if this is just gonna be a total mess. I mean, it's already a pretty big mess if I do it like this, so if I do things live, this just might end horribly. I'm not sure. Maybe let me know if you have any opinions on that. Other than that, I think that's it for today. Yeah, it's gonna be irregular, maybe like once a week-ish, but I don't want to stress. Maybe it's gonna be more. I'm really not sure at the moment. Anyway, thanks for watching, and maybe see you next time. One last thing I forgot. Of course, 9 tiles is the minimum you can do, because the rocket silo is 9 by 9 tiles. So yeah, I should have maybe mentioned that in the beginning. So you can't go any slimmer than 9 tiles. And at the same time, as you may see from the setup here, 9 tiles is, for my system, I think 9 tiles would be the minimum anyways, because the way, like, otherwise I wouldn't be able to branch off anything from this rail. Okay, yeah, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest.